Steve and Jill here.
Hi.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show. Entertaining land investment talk. I'm Stephen Jack Butella.
And I'm Jill DeWitt, broadcasting from sunny Southern California.
Today, Jill and I talk about how to buy land in bulk using a release. Air quotes, release. It's one of the greatest things ever. You don't have to come up with all the cash. You get to pre-sell it. The seller's happy because he's getting tons of payments, maybe over a year. I'll explain it all.
It's so darn cool.
$1.2 million I did on a release a couple years ago in New Mexico.
I can't wait to hear about that.
Before we get into it, though, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landacademy.com online community. It's free.
Jeff asks, I just priced out my offers and would like to get some input on my approach, since I believe pricing is what led me astray on my first campaign.
It almost always is pricing.
First, for each county, I looked up all the comps on LandPin, with similar acreage to the properties. I'll be mailing and calculated the price per each.
Okay, stop right there for a second, okay?
Yes.
You do not use LandPin for comps.
It's true.
LandPin is a site that Jill and I own that is free to our members, where they post the property and helps them create a template so they can then go and post the property all over the internet.
And drive traffic back to their website,
where they check out. So what you're doing is now pricing property probably too low, because you don't want to look at our group as because we're the ones on the planet who are doing it right.
Exactly.
So we're the ones who are buying it as cheap as possible, and we're doing it the right way. You want to look at the average SMO, like on LandWatch or Land and Farm. They're just regular people.
That's
Sometimes
kind of your competition.
They're even realtors, a lot of them. They're listings and stuff. So, yeah, that's a real value. LandPin is cheap, okay? LandPin's where you could even buy property there for that price.
Totally. You don't want to come in and undercut that, because you're right, it's way too low. All right. Second, I sorted all the land for sale with similar acreage to the properties I will be mailing on LandWatch. That's better, good. Yes. And I calculated the per acre prices listed for the cheapest 5 to 10 properties available.
Excellent.
Great. Third, I calculated the average and median price per acre prices for 1, the properties on LandPin listed as sold, 2, the unsold properties on LandPin, and 3, the lowest priced properties on LandWatch.
Okay, now your pricing, I can tell, is way low. Go ahead.
My thinking is that the steps above would give me a general idea of what I could expect to sell for. Fourth, I turned to my data, and I priced each parcel at about 1/3 to 1/2 of the per acre prices on LandPin and LandWatch. So generally, if I found that on LandPin and LandWatch, prices in X county were going for an average $500 an acre, I priced my mailer at about $175 to $250 an acre.
Sounds pretty good.
Finally, I sorted my data by market value, which is one of the RealQuest data points. The market values for my mailers varied as low as $1,000 to as high as $20,000. I adjusted my per acre offers down a bit for properties with low market values and up a bit for properties with higher market values. Does this sound like a good approach to pricing? Does anybody take any other data points into consideration? Would appreciate any input on whether I'm on the right track. I was just going to add, by rolling in the LandPin and the LandWatch things and then taking an average of 2, that pushed it too low, I think, there, because the LandPin's bringing it down too low. Now we're taking another thing in and then cutting it down even lower. I think these numbers are too low. Now, having said that, I know people that have done mailers and done them all wrong and priced way too low, realized it, sent out another wave of mailers, not kidding, with their same name, they didn't hide from it, sent another wave, priced them a little bit higher, and that first one warmed them up and they got a bunch of deals.
Jill, you're a pricing expert. I mean it.
Thank you.
I don't even need to even follow up with
okay.
that. I mean, I spend my life pricing real estate. That's my career.
I know.
And you nailed it.
Thank you.
I could not have answered it better myself.
Thank you. And I just talked to a guy who did this with houses.
Jeff, you're too low. Okay. $175 an acre to $250 an acre. That is middle of the desert. I mean, that's a rock bottom. Back in the day, we would buy properties for, $150 an acre, sometimes, but they're real desert property. It's just that those days are over. Even just inflation since the 90s and early 2000s is going to raise it higher than that. So you're really trying to scrape the bottom here, and you'll probably get a deal. Somebody will sign it, but you're probably just too low.
You're missing a bunch of good stuff.
Yeah.
That's it. You might get something, but you're missing a lot of the good stuff.
What you're doing too is generating. We haven't talked about it a lot for a while on the show, but you're going to generate some hate, man. You're going to generate some angry people. Not that. I mean, there's always angry people, always. But this is just too low. So unless you're buying really large acreage properties for $100 or $200 an acre, I'm talking about 640 acres and above, maybe even thousands of acres for that.
So instead of use Land Watch, use Land and Farm,
Land and Farm.
Lands of America. Who knows? Maybe even see what's out there on eBay and other social media places.
EagleStar.net is a good one, or the MLS.
That's
Go on to Realtor.
Go to Zillow, Trulia.
Yeah, exactly, Joe.
Just for the heck of it.
Or Realtor.com or Redfin. Those Realtor.com and Redfin, that's an almost real-time feed from the MLS. Those are real good numbers. Redfin's not everywhere. Realtor is. They're both really good.
Yes.
Today's topic, how to buy land in bulk using a release. This is the meat of the show. So first of all, Jill, I'm going to ask you a couple questions, okay?
Ready.
Why is it important and good to buy properties like in bulk, to buy like 20 properties at a time versus one?
Why is it important?
Yeah. Why is it good?
Where do I start? Well, number one, if it's in the same county and it's the same seller, I only have to do one deed and I get to save a whole lot of money on fees. Number two, I can negotiate a better price when I'm buying a bunch of properties from the same guy. Number three, where do you want me to go? Keep going.
Keep going.
Oh.
This is what I want to cover here.
Okay.
I want you to list all the benefits and then if there are any, all the pros and if there are any cons.
I can sit back and be selling for a while off of all the juice that I'm getting from this one seller. I didn't have to send. When I sent out my mailer, I only put one of the addresses on there. I didn't send 200 mailers to Smith Properties to hit up Mr. Smith. He got it off of one. Mr. Smith told me, by the way, I have 500. So I got all those other 499 properties without doing a mailer, without having to waste the postage. And I can just sit and buy and sell and have a beautiful relationship. And most of the time I can, call the shots. Hey, I love to buy them all. Can I do 20 this month, 20 next month, whatever it is? I get to set the terms, what I can afford.
So that's a release.
And what I want to do.
That's right. Exactly.
And I could drag this out for a year and make a whole lot of money. And Mr. Smith, it's just so easy. I mail the check to him or however he likes me to do it the same way every month, and it's all good stuff.
How many times a day do we get this question on landstay.com? Oh, darn, I thought I was going to buy that property and now it's just yesterday it was available and now it's marked sold. Do you have any more?
Right.
All the time. So now when you're buying in bulk and release, you can say, yeah, actually I do. Here's another big positive thing about buying in a release in one area or one county. You have to do only one deed. Did you already say that?
Yep. Or one deed. It's usually it's one deed per release because you're getting them all recorded at the same time.
Well, I've never personally done. Let's just talk about bulk.
Okay.
And we'll talk about releases in a minute.
Okay.
It's always better to buy multiple properties at once from one seller.
Right.
The other thing is that you're going to do a posting. If you've done 100 deals already, you know this. Posting property on the internet is time consuming and it's not fun.
Right.
So now you just have to do one version with 20 different pictures. Mm-hmm. So you get away with all kinds of stuff here.
Right. You're going to know that area like a pro, by the way, real fast, like the back of your hand.
Here's the con. Here's the single bad thing about buying property in bulk is that it depletes your cash, right?
Right.
Well, not with the release, it doesn't.
It's true.
So the deal that I did for 1.2 was in a county in New Mexico, and it was from a home builder, and the guy was done. He was retiring. He had tons and tons of property, and I didn't have, $180,000 I think is what he wanted for all of it. It was a lot of properties. So I negotiated a release with him where I would just we divided it by 12, and I bought whatever it ended up being, 10 or 12 properties every month. Mm-hmm. And at the end of it, cleared $1 million, $1.2 million. And all I had to do was fund the first acquisition, the first release, because the sales funded the rest.
Right. And as you go going, by the way, you could do it even faster because you could buy twice as much the second time, 3 times as much the third time, 4 times as much the fifth time. You know, it's just, it's such a great thing.
And so I've never done a release without an escrow agent where I've done the paperwork myself. So you don't have, that's another big positive here. That when you use an escrow agent, instead of closing the deal yourself, there's half the work, less than half.
I've done the flip side, and I did the work. I don't know if you remember this guy. I had him buying a handful of properties from us in a similar situation. Well, I've done 2 things. One was, remember, I've done bulk selling 40 properties at once. I love that. Where this person wanted they were building a winery in the area. It was a family winery, and they were trying to capture all the land that they could. You don't remember this?
I don't ever pay attention to the sales.
Okay, well, this woman came along.
Just the buy side.
And bought every single property we had in one subdivision. So it was great. It was like 40 properties on one deed. Wow. It was awesome. So that was beautiful. Like, okay, done, have at it. And like you said, even for me as a seller, she came to me with a, lower than I want to go price, but it's staring me in the face. Well, how can I say no? You know what? You got it. And we sold it and moved on.
We took our own medicine there.
We did. No, it's all good, but I still won. We won.
Yeah.
What I had posted is not what we pay. You know what I mean? So it's all worked out great. But the other thing is too, I was the release before for this gentleman in Canada. I don't know if you remember this, where he would buy, they had a group and they were looking, because they were getting into the business. We were supplying them the wholesale property. And I would sell him.
I do remember that.
A chunk at a time. And he kept real close track. It was just him and me.
He was like buying us out of our inventory.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
Yeah. And he'd just say, okay, we're ready. And, I'm like, okay. And he just knew where to wire the money. It was nice too when you get in these situations. There's no talking. I look and I see that, yep, the money was wired as he said. Here comes the deed. That's it.
How the heck do you seek this out? Number 1, every single time somebody calls you on a mailer and they say, I want to sell you my property, the second question you ask is, do you have any more? Jill bought property, like incredibly valuable info lots from guys that they didn't even consider like selling, because the property that we were purchasing and we sent the mailer on with it as a property type was so different than these info lots that he had in a small town in California that he just didn't even consider that we would want them. Right. And of course he negotiates the heck out of it. Right?
Yeah, he's like, oh, would you be interested in this? Yeah, what do you have?
Right. So that's number 1, you do that. Number 2, when you pull data and you're doing a mailer in any given county, this is for houses too, you're going to notice that one guy, one ownership entity or 2 or possibly 3 in that county or the subdivision that you're in owns a ton of property. Put that guy aside. Send everybody letters and put that guy aside and maybe skip trace him. If you want to get real serious about this, get his phone number or send him a special note, a special letter that's outside of the mailer that you send through offers to owners. Maybe you actually throw a stamp on this letter and with a handwritten note in there that says, look, I know you buy it. Yeah, I know you own 48 properties in here. I would love to buy them all for $500 each. So that's 48 times 500. Let's talk. Or whatever it ends up being, 5,000 maybe. Don't worry about you don't have enough money. Forget that. If it's a great deal, some people are going to throw money at you. Incidentally, we're just about finishing land crowdfund, by the way.
Cool.
It's a good way to raise money to buy these deals.
Yep.
So if you have questions about it, put it on landinvestors.com and somebody will help you. I know that Luke Smith specifically does lots of release deals. And they're really, you can make your year on one deal.
And this is not what we're talking about. It's not a big deal. It's not a big paperwork thing that you have to do. It's really it's a handshake agreement basically with you and the seller, what you want to buy at a time, and whatever you guys agree on is whatever you agree on. It's great. You're usually solving their problem because it's hard for them to find someone, like you said, Stephen, that's sitting with $180,000.
Yeah.
But can I do $20,000 a month for 9 months? Sure.
Absolutely.
I can do that.
And then when you choose an escrow agent, make sure they've done one of these before. That's going to take some work. Most of the escrow agents that I know have not done release deals for land. In fact, you might even have to go to a commercial one who specializes in commercial real estate.
I think you can just explain it to them. Look, even if it's kind of silly, but if you just, tell them, Here's the deal, Sally Smith at Smith Escrow. I'm buying 20 at a time. You've got the whole list. I just want the first 20, and then I want 21 to 40, and then I want 41 to 60. No, seriously, if you tell them that.
You're giving me nightmares.
Oh, I could do it.
Flashbacks.
Well, then let's wrap up this show. I don't want you to lose sleep.
Explaining stuff to escrow agents can be challenging at times.
You have to do it a very delicate way. That's true. I know, but sometimes you have to.
You have to do it a delicate way.
I do.
Because I refuse to do it.
I know.
Join us tomorrow. Well, you've done it again, actually. You've spent probably, 15 minutes with us listening to the Land Academy show. Join us tomorrow for another interesting episode where we discuss, so you've completed 1,000 deals. Now what? That's the theme, actually, for next week, too.
And we answer your questions posted on our online community found off of landacademy.com. It's free.
You're not alone in your real estate ambition. 1,000 deals. Can't remember that long ago.
Right. You know, I just thought of something that I wanted to share real quick here. It's kind of off. It's a little on top. No, it's off topic.
Okay, good.
It's off topic, but I want everyone to know.
The further off, the better.
Okay, good. I just caught wind about 7 days ago. Not even that. But yeah, about a week ago, I caught wind that there's another group. There's a group out there that's stopped handwriting letters. Thank goodness. And have caught on with doing mail and using a mail service. That's the good news. The bad news is they're spending 80 cents a unit.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like,
80 cents?
80 cents.
We don't charge enough.
No. Well, yeah, that could be. Maybe that's the problem. But anyway, we're at 50, I think it's 58 or 59 cents. I can't remember what it is.
Price of a stampish.
Hey, everybody, anybody who's listening, and if you're spending 80 cents or heaven forbid more on getting a mailer out, and I mean all in.
Yeah.
What Offers to Owners does for 58 or 59 cents, you send an Excel file with your data, you send a Word file with your letter, and that's it. My team does a mail merge for you. You send it back, you approve it, and they put it in the mail.
Do you have to be a member?
No, that's non-member pricing.
What is the member pricing?
I forgot.
It's lower.
It's lower.
Listen,
member pricing is even lower. I forgot.
Joe and I we're not here to sales pitch anything, but I will tell you this. Being a member of our group is you're going to, on your first 2 mailers, it's going to pay for itself.
Oh, yeah.
The pricing that just don't spend a lot of money on mail is my point.
Yeah.
That's in data G's.
Right. And
the
never
published
handwrite
rates,
a letter.
We charge 10 cents a line item. And if at RealQuest.
Of ownership data.
For owner data to mailer data. If you walk in off the street and buy data from RealQuest, it's like 45 cents.
I don't even know what it is. I think it's even, I've seen higher numbers.
It does not make sense. It makes sense to be a member if you're sending out offers consistently.
Right. I didn't want to plug
that's all there is to it.
But I want to save these people because I just caught wind of it. I don't think they even know. They think that they're excited that they're not doing mail and the 80 cents is good. I'm like, 80 cents is not good.
This isn't a profit center for us, Land Academy, you know? We're spreading around the love.
Yeah. Share the fun.
Job. Yeah.
If you want to spread the love and share the fun, subscribe on iTunes or wherever you're listening.
That's a big smile. You like that.
And while you're at it, rate us there. We are Steve and Jill.
Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.